Hello, my Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Need to Love read. What do you need to love read for this full moon to new moon next June 2020? I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, and very, very happy to be serving you today. I was told by my guides that this series of readings, because of what's going on planet Earth, are essentially spiritual counseling in a 6-card draw. So take it for what it's worth. This is a general read. If you want to book me, book me. I've been helping people as best as I can on Skype and Facebook Messenger and over the landline. Can you imagine? And old-timey stuff. Just to keep serving through this time of what is, let's face it, one of the more challenging times a lot of us have seen in a long time. I've got my candle lit, and we'll take that flame and add it to the next candle that will take its place. That being said, this is a what do I need to love read, meaning that it's love-based, but it's what do you need to love in yourself, in your world, to heal, to address anything that has to do with the love in terms of looking at the waning moon, a full moon to new moon next, anything that needs to be let go of, released, healed, yet focused on in order to help that happen. A bit of a paradox, but those are the times we are in. We are looking at the full moon starting Friday, June 5th, to the new moon in Cancer, on Father's Day, which I find interesting, June 21st, considering the day before that is the first day of summer, Letha, summer solstice. So it's an interesting paradox that you've got the dark of the moon at the same time peaking with the brightest point of the sun. Something's going on there. So they're like, all right, let's go big on this one. 6 pieces, 6-card draw from 6 different divinatory systems to give you some clarity, some clues, some tips, some hints of what you need to love, that as you love yourself, you are helping to heal the world in all of that. It is the quantum entanglement of the time that we are in, the divine plan unfolding, yada, 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 right? So let's get up in this gig, take a nice deep breath, and we'll see what we can see. All the decks that I read are in the description box at the very bottom. We're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype deck, just 1 card. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, 1 card in clarity for the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. What is the dominant archetype that they need to love, that they need to heal, that they need to alchemize from lead to gold? This Sag full moon to Cancer new moon, June 2020. What do you got for the Cancerians? Oh, well. You're not gonna like it, but no one likes the word. The shadow side of it is a nightmare, but that's the shadow side of any archetype. The golden side is quite transcendent because, ladies and gentlemen, the Cancerians, God, I hope none of them I know are watching this. The martyr. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, the martyr archetype. That will not be in the title. Yeah, the martyr archetype, we immediately jump into the shadow on that. It's just so funny how certain archetypes we just instantly categorize the light or the shadow, the lead or the gold, almost completely obliterating the possibility of its opposite. And sure, the shadow attribute, addiction to self-pity. We've all been there. We've all had moments of it, but then there are those people that just are addicted to the self-pity and the control and manipulation that comes from it. But the light attribute, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. I mean, look at what's going on planet Earth right now. The pain and the suffering that people are undergoing, and those that are standing up to make the change, and in a way giving of themselves, right? What's the word here? Learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. That cause, even within our own homes, that we can dedicate our spiritual path to the healing of one, because we're all one. Like, that's sort of the point. That's sort of the point of an individual spiritual path, is we're all one. The whole empathy thing and all of that. So it's a fascinating archetype. I know you know way more people in the shadow than you do in the light with that, but if you really look at in your life and you look for that sweeter, more devoted thing of giving of oneself, you go, oh, that's the light side of the martyr. That's the bright, like one of the brightest divine family archetypes you can get. Not one I'm familiar with other than in the shadow, but you know, you do the best you can in life. But if I look, they're around. Particularly now, blessed be, may they have all they need. And if that's you, Cancerians, may you have all you need during this time of challenge, that you may serve and fulfill your role in the divine plan, as may we all, under grace and in perfect ways. And to help with that, let's ask the Healing with the Angels Oracle. What are the angels walking with you through this that are offering healing, hence Healing with the Angels Oracle? My angels, please, for the Cancerian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. The collective is talking about the martyr here. What have you got to help them with that, to really keep that moving in the direction of alchemy towards the goal, toward that transcendent experience of service, balance, which is, you know, a huge part of it is about making sure that it is not just in service to a cause or to oneself, that it is a balance. I mean, that's just right off the top of the deck there. That's obvious, those two right next. So if you really are feeling that calling, right? Like true, like spiritual, golden, if you want, light attribute, full 10,000 watts martyrs that way, it's a calling to put your life out there for people or a cause, even if it is to your own self. That to stay in balance with that is part of a challenge. But if that's what you need to love, like if you need to love yourself, to bring yourself into that balance, to take care of yourself in that, otherwise, you know, it could be a drag. It could really be a drag. No, go ahead, just drain me dry. I'll just sit here in the dark and age. You know, I have to make fun of it because it's there's so much pain in that when we don't serve ourselves. And believe me, as a Virgo, I know the resentment that builds up. It's make sure you're keeping things in balance for yourself. Let's ask the goddesses, daughters of the moon, tarot. My goddesses, please, for the Cancerians, for the moon children, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, for this new moon, full moon in Sagittarius to new moon in Cancer. Their sign, absolutely, please. Didn't even realize that. Their new moon, please. What have you got for them? That we've got the martyr and the balance. My goddesses, please. One tarot. Balance. Says it. Balance. 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 Well, I think we know what the title for this one is. Like, unless there's something amazing coming after that, I think a double balance right next to each other. The angels and the goddesses seem to be in agreement. But here we've got the Two of Pentacles, right? There is that also that aspect of juggling women, literally grabbing bulls by horns and flipping over them, right? Like really kind of like, watch this. Hold my horn. Whoop. It's a skill, and you know what, with that light martyr, what I love about this card is that they are transcendent, and here they're flying through the air with roses around them, right? Really not a martyrdom of pain, but of a real flying forward, that transcendent thing of I am serving a larger purpose, right? It's a beautiful thing. But in order, what you need to love, you need to bring balance in. To make sure that that's making its way all the way around through all the systems. That's lovely. Well, here we go. Here we go. The Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, the Womp Womp deck. Well, half of it is the Womp Womp deck. The Suit of Problems. The Voices of the Ascended Masters can also give you one of the other three suits in the deck, Luck, Healing, or Grace. Just they don't seem to do that often, usually with the waning moon stuff. I've just noticed a pattern. So let's see what you get, Cancerians. Nice deep breath. My Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity. I know. They're like, the problem cards are good cards, and they're right. It's good to know, right? So that you can go, yep, absolutely. Like, particularly if you sense it, if it resonates, it's like, yep, okay, so it's a thing, right? It's hopeful. So please, my Ascended Masters, one card, please, for the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs for this full moon in Sagittarius to new moon next in Cancer. Their new moon for the year. What have you got for the Cancerians? A dish best served cold. Revenge. Oh, come on, click off light. You blinded me. There we go. Revenge. The card of revenge. Well, I will say martyrdom shifting to a vibe of revenge. I could understand that, right? I do, and I do, and I do for you people. Now watch what I'm going to do. Be careful. Be careful. Obviously, there is revenge in the air. Anyway, any kind of empathic stuff you got going on, just be careful of backlash. Now, if that's something you can control within yourself, because in this card, we've got a couple strolling by underneath, holding hands. No idea that this woman on top of the hill there is totally about to Wile E. Coyote them. So, you know, literally dropping a bullet. It's very Acme. It's very Warner Brothers. Be careful. What do you need to love? You need to get that, the pain that is motivating that, whether you are dealing from that within yourself or from someone on the outside, then there has to be blame in place. And that, what's underneath that blame is usually just so much pain that needs to be heard and loved without controlling the show. So whether it's yours or somebody else's, keeping all of this in balance, not M-I-N, balance, in balance, with that martyr is going to be a tricky one. This could be very much a tricky one, which is why we're going to now turn to, see, because vengeance, there's vengeance and there's justice. And they're not the same thing, but they appear in terms of outcome to somewhat be the same thing sometimes. And it's usually about whether the ego gets what it wants, right? It's a tricky thing. It's a psychological dynamic that really comes from such screeching heart chakra pain. It's an aspect of the, you could say it's an expression of the deadly sin of wrath, the heart chakra deadly sin, and it takes great fortitude and emotional balance, harmony, the heart chakra Tiferet, from the Tree of Life, connected with the heart chakra there. So let's get you a healing mantra. Matt Kahn healing mantra deck. Let's see what we got for my Cancerians. Please breathe. My Ascended Masters, like, I get it with the mantra thing. I mean, I get it with the martyr thing there. I'm going to get a mantra for the martyr. I mean, with that revenge thing and keeping that in balance, that could go either way, and that's going to play itself out differently throughout the collective. That I am well aware. Particularly with the emotional waves of empathy going on, you know, anyway, what they're feeling from the world in general. So please, what is the perfect healing mantra for the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs? This, oh, I understand, this Sagittarius full moon to the dark moon in Gemini, which will lead into their new moon in Cancer, their new moon sign. Please, what is the perfect healing mantra for the Cancerians this full moon to new moon next, June 2020? Liberating love. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. Liberating love. This is a lovely card. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. Hold on one second. Liberating love. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. When love is liberated, your heart remains open to all the gifts that life has to offer. As love is liberated from the emotional wounds of the human condition, it becomes easy to accept, forgive, and receive. When such actions seem exhausting, it is simply a sign that your heart doesn't feel safe enough to remain open. When this occurs, your will's freedom to embrace each tender corner of your consciousness will allow opening up to resume. When your heart has permission to open, your love is liberated, and you can shine a light into all levels of reality to awaken the truth of all. This mantra is ideal for learning how to believe in yourself, promoting self-realization, and integrating the shadow. I was like, I had a feeling that last little bit was going to be in there in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, this is all about you balancing the light and the shadow of the martyr, because as a look, my mom's a Cancerian. I'm familiar with Cancerian energy. I was raised by the mother of the zodiac, right? That martyr thing, it can be really, really hard, a gravitational force in and of itself in terms of that self-pity, because you do so much and you take on so much, and then you've got the empathic part of it of feeling everybody's everything like an echo chamber. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Keep it in balance. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. That's the balance. That's the balance. That's the balance. So sometimes it's not about the Cancerians willing to give so much as it's about willing to receive. I allow myself to receive the fulfillment I'm willing to give. So a lot of people would think that's the other way around, where they're not giving enough. Where with Cancerians, it's exactly the other way around. It is they give and give and give, but will not always let themselves receive. So, yeah, and that could bring out revenge fantasies. I can understand. They're just right. It definitely, there's some shadow in there. Not to call out an entire zodiac sign, but I guess that's what I do for a living nowadays. So there you have it. Let's move on. We have got the last card down, the Whisper of Love Oracle, which I love. It is simple, but it is direct. I love the artwork of this one, and I've dedicated it to the voices of the higher self. So let's see what your higher self, fifth dimensional and above's got to say, shall we? Nice deep breath, please. Higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity for the Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, signs, please. For this full moon in Sagittarius to new moon in Cancer, their new moon, what is the Whisper of Love from the higher self collective to the Cancerians this full moon to new moon, June 22nd? Physical touch is important, and this card, of course, has been coming up a lot in my own readings. It's like, I get it. 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 I'll read you what's on here. Physical touch is important. For some of us, nothing is more important than a tender touch. This might include a pat on the back or giving a hug to someone who needs it. Now, as far as the empathic thirst going on the planet, and I think you know that thirst to which I am referring, let's just say allow yourself to receive all the fulfillment that you're willing to give, but in terms of physical touch, be careful. Duh, right? Duh. 6 feet, right? Okay, got it. Like, I'm not saying I got all the answers. I know I ain't got all the answers, but that cracks me up when that card comes up. Doesn't matter what reading it comes in. I'm like, yeah, physical touch is important. Tell me about it. So perhaps there is some need then in lieu of that to really move the body, to stretch, to pamper yourself, the self-care stuff. But what does it take again to come in to balance? And keep in mind, you got it, Two of Pentacles, physical earth. So it does feel like that's definitely part of it. So putting this all together, right? The collective are saying watch the martyr archetype. It's what you need to look at to really love. That you can do this with so much love and so much grace, but it's going to take really bringing things into balance, right? Are you or will you allow yourself to receive the fulfillment that you're willing to give with this liberating love? So liberate, and this is such an image of liberation here as a result of the balance, and understanding that of course there's going to be a voice of revenge inside of you if you've been pouring out more than you've been taking in, but there's where the shadow side of the martyr there can just be so addicted to that feeling, and we all fall into it every now and again. It doesn't mean it's a lifelong pattern, but to get that somehow that the physical touch is important in all of this, that there's something about being grounded, about being in the presence of others, or at least just feeling that contact with somebody. And you know what? I pray that you get that. I pray that we all get that under grace and in perfect ways, meaning in happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intelligent ways, that we are able to make that kind of healing contact with others in time. I know the world is in flames right now. It's an interesting time to incarnate, said the Virgo sun sign with the Pisces moon. But love is the answer. So if you put this all in the context of what do I need to love, then there is an opportunity for you here to not just experience love, but to liberate and receive the amount of fulfillment that you are willing to give. May the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with exactly that liberating fulfillment of love in balance as they devote themselves to their cause, to the service of themselves, healing that revenge and receiving the physical touch that is important to them and really, truly to all of us in one way or another. May they be so blessed. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you for watching. If you would, please do like the video, hit subscribe, notification bell, comment below if this makes sense to you. Otherwise, I'd be very, very glad to wish you the very best and the very blessed of this full moon to new moon next June 2020. Hail, my Cancerians. Farewell and blessed, blessed be.